Hey guys, welcome back to the DX Gamer Show. My name is OperationDx, and I hope you guys had a great weekend. We're back here on Monday, April 1st, 2013 for our Simcity Let's Play. So as I had mentioned before, we're pretty much on the home stretch with this city. We're almost done with it, and then we'll be very shortly, within the next few episodes, working on our next city, which is going to be the college or education city. And with that brings us to our objective for this episode, which is we are going to try to go ahead and get the electronics unlocked so that we can place the electronics factory that produces the TV and computer systems. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade the infrastructure on the city one more time, and we're going to go ahead and place a trade HQ for future exporting and stuff. I believe this also raises the prices of some goods, such as the processors, and we'll make a little bit more money on that, which is definitely going to help out in the long run, and that should help us get to that upgrade for the processors a little easier. And I may not have to do the thing I was talking about from what I've read. I think you can place this, it'll raise the price, and it makes it much easier to get to that 1.5 million electronics unlock. So we're going to go ahead and try that and see what happens. Hopefully we don't extend the time in this city, because I really am excited to get to work on the next college town. And like I said, I'm probably going to go a little more aesthetic. That one is going to be less grid-like, and that one's going to be more about, you know, just getting the unlocks for the region and stuff. As you guys requested on some of the comments in the previous videos, we are going to go ahead and do the launch center in the that great work spot. Okay, so check this out. Our processors are now selling for 100,000 instead of 67,003, and that's a huge boost. So that's definitely going to benefit us here, and hopefully, like I said, we won't have to do that hoarding to get the electronics unlocked. So just like any other, you know, placing any other thing, I'm going to go ahead and just swipe through the power grid, the water, and the waste treatment to see how everything's going. Everything looked okay until we probably do our next specialization building, and I can already see, like, as we start to place these things, we're going to dip down, and we're probably, by the end of the last episode before we switch over to the new city, run in a slightly, hopefully not too deeply negative budget, but we will be probably in a negative budget. It's not a big deal though, because all those all the TV sales are going to make us so much money, so we really don't have to worry about it. So here we are maximizing our clinic, and probably by the final episode we'll do the buckle up stuff, and we'll probably place down the hospital, because that clinic is pretty much on the verge of not being able to manage all the stuff in the city. And like I mentioned before, you know, with all this pollution being produced, we'll take a look at the pollution map later, but with all the pollution being produced, that's one of the primary things that's going to happen that's going to be negative in this particular city, is you're going to have a lot of sick Sims, so you gotta, like, be on top of that. Otherwise, things will, you know, pretty much spiral into decay. Like, if you can't manage it, it's just like crime or anything else. Like, if your crime's too high, you're going to have fires freaking everywhere, and your fire department's not going to be able to handle it, and things just start to degenerate from there. So we are going to go ahead and actually place future stuff for the region here, especially for our next city, because we're going to have high wealth citizens, and go ahead and place down the budget upgrade for the city hall. And I don't really, you know, again, I'm not promoting high wealth here, but I am alleviating a little bit, because people are actually protesting. Every time that I've recently hovered my mouse over the city hall, I've noticed that people are complaining about the high taxes and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and alleviate that, you know, try to, like, I don't know if that has, like, any sort of adverse negative effects if you just ignore the people, if they, you know, do bad things against you. I'm not sure. So we're just going to go ahead and, you know, just kind of tighten things up, because like I said, I like to keep everything in check and in par, and somewhat reasonable, and not let it get too far out of hand. And of course, another thing we're probably going to do maybe in the last episode is you know, get an extra power plant, and we're going to fully maximize maybe our water and treatment so we can transfer it over to the next city. But I had mentioned that, I believe, in the previous episode. So now we're just kind of, you know, watching, we're killing time here to, you know, basically just watch it as everything unfolds, make sure our levels are going here, make sure our chains are working properly. That's something you'll see me do a lot. I really kind of try to keep a tight buckle on everything to make sure that I'm not in a negative way in any direction. I really don't want to start importing those base resources unless I really have to. Another thing that this city is going to do a great thing for us in play is, eventually when we start building our great works, we're actually going to have to come back here and start exporting. But I'm kind of worried about that because I know that we're probably going to be in a negative budget. And when we're exporting our goods to the Great Works Center, we are probably going to be taking a hit to our budget, and we'll be making negative money depending on what we send. But we'll worry about that a little bit later. So yeah, we're totally wasting time here just to let things build up. But I always like to do this, especially in the more urban type cities. It's kind of like just do like this pan above the roads and stuff. It's not quite like the. Do you remember SimCity 4? The highway expansion? It was not the highway expansion. It's like called Rush Hour, I believe. And you could take control of the cars or whatever and do these missions to get a bunch of money. I always felt that it was too easy to do those missions, and it made the game kind of meh because you made so much money on doing those missions, like driving around the car, escape the city with this car or whatever, and it just made things so easy. So we already have our trade unlock, and these buildings are freaking huge, these trade buildings. So we're going to go ahead and plop this one down. This is the electronics division, and I believe what that allows us to do is in the big trade port, it allows us to have bigger storage for electronics. And we may do the big trade port later on. We're probably going to place another trade port though in a second here. Another thing that's kind of nice is the way I have this arranged is like towards the highway aspect. It's pretty much unobstructed. So usually you want to keep your trade buildings near the entrance or highway access for your city so that you don't obstruct your imports and exports. But the way I have it set up here and not allowing the super high density going on, my trade really isn't going to be obstructed. I've also towards the back half of the city, if I want to place that large trade center, I've got railroad tracks back there, and that will be another way to get goods in and out of the city, which is it's pretty nice. It's pretty good. It'll all work out. But we're probably not going to go that deep as far as imports and exports. But I am interested to see how things are going to work out later with the Great Works projects and stuff. So we are placing basically a processor import-export facility. We might half and half it later when we are actually building the TVs. We'll get around to that. It's always good to think ahead about these things and get them in place before actually producing the goods and stuff. So that's what I try to do, and check that out. So we're hovering over the electronics HQ here, and look at that. Bam, bam. I did a cut forward there to try to, okay, and then there's the unlock. So we have the unlock already. We didn't have to hoard the processors at all, which means we just made a ton of money. And look at our budget right now. We're almost at 1 million simoleons just from that short period after we dropped the trade HQ, got the trade HQ unlock, and I believe that building was like 400,000. So we've really been, making a lot of money. So you can see how it's going to be really easy to get about 2 million to build up. That's what I'm going to do, is about 2 million. And, for the last or the next episode, we're going to go ahead and start the college town and then export the 2 million over to that town. And then you've got to play this town for a little while after you do that, because the money doesn't transfer immediately. It takes a little while. But that's no big deal because we'll have some other stuff to take care of before we head over. So now that we have another special building going in our city, we're going to go ahead and head over and knock down another block of industry. If you watch your population, you'll notice that as you put these special buildings in, your jobs go way up. So we need to knock these jobs out so that those people will go work in the special building and not in our core industry. So after what happened to us on the previous episode, I'm really kind of worried about keeping tabs on things, because that bug was pretty major. We lost a few $100,000 in that bug, if you remember from episode 8. Now, I haven't really seen anything like that before as I was playing an Electronic City, and there has been a few patches to the game since I previously played the game before we started this one. There has not been any patches during the time of this Let's Play, but I suspect we might run into a few. But hopefully it's just bug fixing and not nerfing, because I think the game is fine how it is at this point. But anyways, yay, we are almost there. We've got our final consumer electronics factory. Yes. And pretty much this is the factory that's going to produce, TVs or computer systems. And I'm not 100% sure what we're going to need as far as things that are going to be shipped over to the launch center. But I suspect that most of what we are going to need is going to come from this city. Now, if we need oil for the Great Works project, we're probably just going to go to the city and just straight up import oil and then export it to the Great Works project, if that's possible. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but I don't want to spend the time to build another additional city just to produce oil. So, I mean, we're making so much money with this, it's pretty much irrelevant, and it's not going to affect us at all. And, like I said, we are going to run into some budget issues, but we'll save up a few million before we actually start exporting things, so it's not going to be a problem. As I sound like a broken record as I'm repeating these things, it's just something in my mind at the moment, and that's kind of, where I'm thinking. And, I always try to focus on what I'm doing at, one particular time or another. But anyways, we got this thing almost fully upgraded, and we're going to start off by producing TVs. And I actually noticed that the TVs are selling for less, and I don't know why that is. TVs previously in the last game that I played in Electronic City were selling for $197,000 per 1,000. In this, I think they're selling for $158,000 per 1,000, which is still incredible. And because we are producing all the base materials minus plastic, it really isn't going to affect us one way or the other. So now that our consumer electronics factory is up and running, we're producing TVs. I'm doing the classic thing here. You just saw me do where I swipe through the power grid, the water grid, and the waste treatment, and just checking those things. Now we're still in the green here, but we had a pretty good surplus when the last time we placed one, so no big deal. So 158, 125. That's what they sell for per 1,000. So that's still pretty good. But previously, I don't know if that's because I placed the trade center. I don't know if they are finally implementing like the dynamics of the game on the Sim Nation, where the prices fluctuate based on supply and demand. I have no idea. Alright, so now that we're up and running, that's pretty much going to be it for episode 9. Thank you for watching the DX Gamer Show and my SimCity Let's Play. I'll see you guys next time for the next episode. Have a good day and see you later.